Test one website and you will earn over $300. Install and test another app and you will earn over $500.
In this episode of I Tried It, we're going to test this side hustle that claims that we can make $6 per minute just by testing different websites and apps. Now this video is going to be comprised of 4 parts. Part 1 is going to be an overview of the original video. Part 2 is going to be 5 potential problems that I see with trying this type of side hustle. Part 3 is going to be my results and if you should do it. And part 4 are going to be potentially better ideas to make money online. So the premise of this app and website is actually really simple. You are simply going to log into a website, which I won't reveal, in an effort to make money simply completing surveys and giving your opinion. It doesn't get any more difficult than that, but I think that's the problem, which I'll reveal and discuss a little bit later. Well, I actually tried this method for 12 hours while I was hanging out with my family and getting other general work done. So what you'll need to do is create an account. If you don't already have one, you're actually going to have to fill out a pre-test where you're going to have to answer a bunch of questions and record yourself doing it. You're going to have to record yourself both audio and video, which is one of the problems that I'll mention a little bit later. But it takes about 24 to 48 hours to get final approval. Once you get final approval, you can move on to step 2. Step 2, which is completing different surveys and browsing websites and simply giving your opinion. Now again, this is easy enough. It's not something that's overly difficult at all, but it can prevent a problem for some people. Now that you understand the overview of the original video, let's go ahead and talk about 5 potential problems that I encountered when trying to make money testing apps and websites. Number 1, you have to have your browser open and ready to take a test whenever they pop up. When you first create an account, you won't have any surveys or tests to take. And so you literally have to have it open either in a separate web browser or on your phone and hear a little ding sound. Once you hear that ding, you have just a few minutes to decide if you want to take the test or not. And then once you decide if you want to take the test, that actually creates problem number 2. Problem number 2 is you have about 5 to 10 minutes to take the test. And if you are not ready, willing, and able within those 5 minutes, it's going to disappear. There were a bunch of times where I heard the ding pop up, and when I went to go take the test, I was no longer available. As I mentioned, I was trying to do this when I had my kids around. My kids needed things and wanted things like lunch, and so I wasn't able to take every single test that popped up. Now I did hear a bunch of dings throughout the day, but like I said, it was one of those things where my kids were more important. And that's something that you should consider if you are looking for a side hustle or something that is going to help you make money online. I didn't like the fact that I had to essentially be tethered to my computer and my smartphone in the event that a test would be available for me to take. The third issue that I encountered is potentially more frustrating. Most of the tests that you can take are available only on your smartphone, and so you had to essentially download an app in order to be prepared to take another test. And so that's just one more thing that is looking at your data and your information and has access to you on your app or your smartphone. Again, it was something that was kind of annoying and frustrating. Oftentimes I would hear a ding on my computer, and when I would go check out the test or survey to take, it would tell me that I would have to go over to my smartphone and complete the survey that way. Oh, by the way, if I wasn't able to do it within the 5 or 10 minute requirement, it would disappear. However, I think the 5th problem that I ran into is probably the most annoying and frustrating. In order to use this website, you have to have a screen recording and even a camera available. As I mentioned at the very beginning, before you can get approved, you have to be able to speak into a microphone and have a camera connected to your computer. A number of the tests that popped up for me to take, I simply wasn't able to complete because it required recording with my camera. It wanted to actually record me taking tests, which was incredibly annoying and frustrating and something I just wasn't comfortable doing. I didn't know where that recording was going. I didn't know what they were looking for potentially in the background in addition to looking at me. And so it was quite annoying and frustrating, and one of the reasons why I simply wasn't able to make as much money as I could. And I don't know if you just heard that, but a ding just happened telling me that another test was available to take. Another one of the major frustrations that I encountered when trying the side hustle was the pre-survey survey. Yes, it would tell me that I can make $6 in essentially 4 minutes. However, I had to take a survey to qualify for the survey, which is one of the more annoying things when you are taking surveys on survey sites. You don't get to just take a survey and make the money, you've got to take a pre-survey survey that can take 5 to 10 minutes just to be told that you're probably not qualified. And I actually experienced that a number of times. So there are a number of problems that I encountered when trying to apply this method. The original video said that we could earn $6 per minute. It was more closer to earning $6 for 4 minutes, not including the pre-survey survey, earning $6 for 30 minutes of your time. I was actually not able to find a survey out there that would pay me for just 1 minute of my time. It was 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and so on, which was closer to double that when you factored in the pre-survey survey. Now, as I mentioned, I had spent a considerable amount of time on this app waiting for the dings and the other sounds to pop up so that I could either take a survey or be redirected. And when I was finally able to take a survey, oftentimes I wasn't qualified because I either had too much knowledge or not enough. For example, one of the surveys that popped up asked me if I was a software developer. And while I was a software developer a few years ago, that's not something that I'm currently doing. And so I wasn't able to qualify for that survey. So after spending a considerable amount of my time with that browser open, I actually made less than $20 filling out these surveys. So if we just did the math, and let's assume that I spent 6 hours with the browser open and I made $20, you can see that my time was less than $3 per hour. So for me, in my personal opinion, it's not worth it to do this type of survey. I didn't like the fact that I would have to be on my computer all day. I didn't like the fact that it would take me 24 to 48 hours to finally get approved. I didn't like the fact that I would have to be recorded in order to have the opportunity to take these surveys. I didn't like the fact that the surveys disappeared and they were only available for the short amount of time. And as always, when it comes to survey sites, I didn't like the fact that I would have to take a pre-survey survey to figure out if I was qualified to make the little bit amount of money that I could make. Now that you know that I don't think that surveys are a great idea, let's talk about something that I do think is much better for you both in the short term and the long run. So in my opinion, I think there are much better ways to make money online. One of the easiest ways, but probably the most work, is going to be becoming a freelancer. I have spent many years talking about how I earned $2,500 simply helping people build out 5-page WordPress websites. I think that's a much better idea and a much better use of your time. And the amount of time it took me to make the less than $20, you could actually reach out and cold call people and see if they need WordPress websites developed. You can reach out to people sending direct messages, opening up conversations, and hopefully help potential clients build out 5-page WordPress websites. Now again, the process I think is relatively simple. It's not easy because you have to be a salesman, but essentially you need to go out and find clients, and there's a number of ways to do it. Check out their website and let them know that they're missing money, and when they're missing money, they're missing opportunity. That's just one way. I think another better way is to simply create content. You can create content here on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or anywhere where people are already hanging out. You simply identify an area that you want to be known for, whether it's in health, wealth, pickleball, security cameras, kind of like my first YouTube channel, and you simply identify the questions that people are asking. Now, based on where you create content, people are going to be asking questions in different ways. For example, here on YouTube, people are using questions based on keyword search or search terms. They're asking questions like how to install a Ring video doorbell without a pre-existing doorbell. If you are taking your talents to TikTok, for example, you might create content in a different way. For example, instead of a keyword search or a keyword friendly search term, you are going to create content like 5 reasons why you need to install a Ring video doorbell for your home today. Again, essentially people have the same problems, concerns, and frustrations. They just ask it differently based on where they're hanging out. Once you identify an area that you want to be known for, the content ideas, the third step is essentially learning how to monetize. And there are so many different ways to monetize. It could be with affiliate marketing. It could be with creating and selling digital products. It could be with subscriptions and memberships. You just have to identify one that works out best for you. There are literally 10 different ways that you can monetize your content, and I certainly recommend that for you. Now, most likely that's not going to be something that just works overnight. However, it does have the opportunity and the benefit to pay you for months, weeks, and even years to come. The best way to get paid for months, weeks, and even years to come is with email marketing. Email marketing is simply where you are going to collect names and emails, and you are going to provide value through email marketing. Now that can sound daunting and frustrating, but it's actually as simple as telling stories, offering additional helpful information, and then asking for the sale. That's really what email marketing is, and that's going to be much more fruitful and beneficial for you, both in the short term and the long run. Now you might be asking, how do I start email marketing? And starting email marketing is essentially you are going to give something away for free. It's often referred to as a lead magnet, and you are going to get their email back in exchange. And then you can email them and even offers to buy a product or service that you recommend. Now again, I think that's a much better way than trying to make $6 per minute as referenced in the original video. Now that you know that this won't work, you still have a lot to learn when it comes to making money from your content. Watch this video next as I go into greater detail on how you can make money online simply creating content that you want to be known for.